And so not only am I going through recovery in a not typical eating disorder body, but I'm going through recovery in a fat body, and a very fat body. And I mean, let's talk about that. Let's talk about what that looks like. Hey guys, it's me. So I know I haven't made a video in a while. It's been rough online. It's been a lot of me feeling like I'm not worthy of making videos. I'm not worthy of talking to people or sharing my experiences. It's just been really rough, and it's kind of sucked. I've had a lot of negative comments, and I've had a lot of forward men commenting, messaging me, and it's just been me facing my recovery head on in a new city, in a new headspace, with a lack of support, and it's been rough. But I wanted to make this video because I know that recovery is rough for a lot of people. And sorry, I'm sweaty, but authenticity, right? If my authenticity can touch someone out there or make them feel like what they're going through isn't the end and it isn't as shitty as they feel like it is, then that's what I'm here for. That's why I'm here. And it's just hard because like so many good comments, like 10 good comments don't make up for that one really horrible comment. So yeah, but I wanted to talk about what recovery is like in a larger body, because I got challenged on some of my shit in therapy last night, and I want to talk about it. So for me, when I first went into recovery, the idea of recovery for me was synonymous with losing weight. Because to me, the word healthy weight or normal weight, in my mind, meant losing weight to finally be at that healthy weight that doctors always quote at me and what the world always quotes at me. And so for me, recovery meant eating my meal plan, losing weight because of it, and I'd seen other people go through recovery where they lost weight, and recovery where recovery where they ended up getting a body that I was jealous of, to be honest, and where they were able to like be more active, and they were able to do sports, and they were able to run, and they were able to like be more carefree in their body. And that's rough because for me, the idea of being skinny has always meant all of those things. And so recovery sort of became masquerading as weight loss and being skinny and finally getting to be the person who I want to be. Because it just feels so much like living in a fat body, like I just can't do what I want to do. And so not only am I going through recovery in a not typical eating disorder body, but I'm going through recovery in a fat body, and a very fat body. And I mean, let's talk about that. Let's talk about what that looks like, because going into treatment, except for one other guy, I was the biggest person in treatment. And he didn't even stick around past my first week. So it just feels like it just feels like you've kind of just like failed at your eating disorder when you're still fat and you have an eating disorder, because the idea of having an eating disorder, it's not about the weight, but it is about the weight, because one of the things that you're obsessing about all the time is the weight and losing the weight. And so I, like everyone else, obsessed about the weight, obsessed about my weight, and always wanted to be thin. And so the fact that I'm in treatment, I'm with all of these other people who are thin or normal or average sized bodies, and I'm not, to me that meant that I failed, that I didn't try hard enough in my eating disorder, that I didn't eat too little, I didn't restrict enough, I binged too much, and I didn't do it right. And that was really hard for me to come to terms with, and for me to kind of push out of my head, because regardless of what your body looks like, regardless of what weight you're at, if you're obsessing about your weight and food, and you're restricting and purging and binging in whatever order, in whatever amount, in whatever frequency, like, you need help. And I knew that I needed help, because I couldn't stand sitting in my head anymore. But at the same time, I knew I needed help, but I didn't feel worthy of that help. And it just felt really horrible. And so if you're going through that, like, I totally understand. I totally get it. You're not alone at all. And so last week when I got a message through Instagram that said, it said something to the extent of, why are you lying? You clearly can't have a restrictive eating disorder if you're that fat. That hit me really hard, because it just verified, like, every single doubtful thought that I've had in recovery. And it just really hurt, because it's taken a lot for me to even think that I deserve recovery, to want to speak up about my recovery, to want to inspire other people to get recovery, and then for someone to come along and say that, when for the last year I've been struggling solely with restriction, not with binging, not with purging, just restriction. So yes, I've had a restrictive eating disorder longer than just this past year, but especially in this past year. And so for people not to be able to understand that, even though I'm open about it, for people still not to be able to understand that or see that, was just beyond upsetting. And I don't know where I want this video to go really, but I want people to understand that just because you're fat doesn't mean that you don't have an eating disorder, doesn't mean you don't have a restrictive eating disorder. It's not like all fat people automatically have binge eating disorder. Like, that's not the thing. I've never been diagnosed with that. And I also want people to know that restricting can indeed make you gain weight. When I was restricting some of the worst that I was this year, I actually gained more weight. So yes, it's possible to be fat with a restrictive eating disorder. And I also want those of you who are in recovery, or who are thinking about recovery, or who are, hey, if you're in your eating disorder and you're watching this, like, good job at you, because I don't even know if I would have done that. I would have been watching things to make me sicker. So good job at you. But I want you to know that if you're living in a fat body and you do have an eating disorder, or you're in recovery, that you're still worthy and you're still valid and you still totally matter, and that it's okay. But I guess that's just a little bit about my story. I'll probably share like another video about what my eating disorder looked like if you guys are interested in that. And I'd love to do like a Q&A if anyone has any questions that they want to leave below. But yeah, until the next time, subscribe and comment, like, all of the good things if you want to see more. All right, have a good night.